start with introductions, and then while we're doing introductions, I will put in the Zoom chat the kind of schedule for this is officially the start of the family diplomacy training. Last week was more of an orientation. And so this meeting, besides introductions, is going to actually focus on presentations from two faculty members we have here from Arizona State University, and then discussions between those two discussions. So those presentations. So it's presentation, discussion, presentation, discussion. It'll essentially go like that. And so let's start with introductions, and I'm going to have I think Bethany and Denise, I'll have you guys introduce yourselves last, precisely because, well, you guys are going to be speaking very soon. And so let us start with Joe Tolles at the top of my screen. Oh, Joe, you need to unmute.
Always. Hi, my name is Joe Tolles. I'm from Auburn, Alabama. And I am my family consists of 8 adopted boys and myself.
And you can tell in your case, because you're one of our family diplomats, tell us what issue you're passionate about.
Okay, I am, surprise, I'm going to be passionate about foster care and adoption from foster care.
Yeah, so I'm also happy to say that Joe Tolles sits on our board of directors. So we're particularly happy to have him among our family diplomats. We have some interns joining us as well. So I'm going to have one of our interns introduce themselves. May, if you could introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm May. I'm an intern here at Learning Life. I'm a student at Vassar College. I'm a junior, and I'm a double major in international studies and Russian.
Great. Jenna Lynn.
Hi, I'm Jenna Lynn. I'm also an intern with Learning Life, and I'm a student at Virginia Tech studying sociology and psychology.
Alex Ravano.
Hi, I'm also an intern with Learning Life. I'm a student at George Washington University. I study international affairs at the Elliott School, and I'm also studying psychology.
And then we're going to switch. I'm kind of like giving you a sense of the diversity of people we have here. Belle, if you could introduce yourself. You're one of our FD trainees.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Beltina Gelosci. I'm originally from Albania. I'm calling from Skopje, North Macedonia. I'm a PhD candidate at George Mason University, and I specialize at the intersection of conflict resolution and social psychology.
Great. Justice, if you could introduce yourself. Justice is joining us from Nigeria.
Hi everyone, I'm Umesi Onyekachi Justice. I'm chatting from Rivers State, Nigeria, and West Africa. I graduate of political science, Ignatius Sajuru University of Education. It's a pleasure being here.
Great, thanks, Justice. And Chloe, if you would, who's one of our family diplomats joining us from California.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well. My name is Chloe, and I live in Los Angeles, California, and I'm still a high schooler.
Great. Abdul Ghaffar Konate, I don't know if you can hear me, but if you could introduce yourself. We have not met you yet. Abdul may not hear us, so we're going to switch to Marvin, who's from China, and has been involved with us in various ways, but is one of our family diplomats. Marvin. Oh, you have to unmute.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Marvin. I'm originally from China. I have been here in the US for the last a little bit over more than like 4 years. Yes. So I was in Washington, D.C. before. I did my graduate study there, and I was an intern for Learning Life for those 2 years. And now I'm living in Minnesota, which is another state in United States. Yeah, that's about me. For my family, we have 4 members right now. My parents and my son. I used to be married, but not anymore. Yeah.
Very good. Thanks, Marvin.
Thank you.
Leroy joining us. I can't remember. Leroy, if you could introduce yourself. I can't remember what country you're joining us from.
Hi guys, my name is Leroy Kwe from Liberia. I am excited to be here again, though I was here for the first meeting or the orientation, and I'm excited again to be here. Like I said, I have 5 immediate family members, though we have other people living with us, but my immediate family members are 5. That include my mom, but not my dad, because my mom and dad split apart many years ago. So I'm glad to be here again. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Leroy. Lakshmi, who is joining us from India, can you introduce yourself? Lakshmi, I think, has connection issues, but she hopefully, if you're able to hear me, I don't know if you are, and if you're having trouble kind of speaking your introduction, what you can do is introduce yourself via the Zoom chat, and do tell us a little bit about your family, as you guys have been doing. That would be great. So let me see who else we've got here. Chirunim, who's likewise joining us from Nigeria. If you could introduce yourself, and I don't know if you're with your brother as well.
Greetings everyone. No, Dr. Paul, I'm not with my brother. He's actually in college. So greetings everyone. My name is Aigyo Tochirunim. I am former intern Learning Life. I have been involved in Learning Life since 2020, and I'm looking from Port Harcourt, Nigeria, and a student of political science, still in school. And currently I run a startup and looking at the bridges between politics and technology.
Great. Thanks, Chirunim. Rosella, who is joining us, well, is from Italy, but is joining us from the Netherlands.
Correct, yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Rosella. I have a master's degree in international relations studied in Berlin. And right now I'm attending a PhD in sociology and international relation in Groningen, which is in the Netherlands.
Great. And do you want to say a little bit about your family? How many members of your family, Rosella?
Oh yeah, like my closest family is me, my twin sister, and my father and my mother. But we have a big family because I'm from the south of Italy, and we have big families.
Great. Abdul, I don't know if you can hear us, but please, if you could introduce yourself and your family briefly. Abdul? He may have, I think he's having issues with his internet access. Tadiwa Mudede, I don't know if you can hear us, but if you can introduce yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, go ahead.
Tadiwa, I'm from Zimbabwe.
Okay, we can barely hear you, Tadiwa. So if you could, in your case, please introduce yourself in the chat. Just tell us about who you are, as well as where you're calling from. In other words, what city and country, and then tell us a little bit about your family. How many members of your family there are, and if you're particularly passionate about something. Actually, Sarah, who is in charge of attendance, if you could individually message each of the folks that we don't know so well, and just ask them those questions. So basically their name, which we hopefully have, but their city, their country, and a little bit about they should tell us about their family members, how many family members they have, And then if they're passionate about a particular family issue that's impacting their family, that would be great. And they should introduce themselves to all of us. So if they happen to respond to you only, just cut and paste and say, hey, this is from such and such, and put it in the Zoom chat for everyone to see. I'm going to have Emma introduce herself, one of our interns.
Hi guys, my name is Emma. I am a student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, and I am studying legal studies and sociology.
Great. Fatima.
Hello, I'm Fatima. I'm also an intern at Learning Life, and I'm a rising junior at George Mason University studying psychology.
Great. Avanti.
Hi, I'm an intern at Learning Life. I study at Columbia Political Science and Education. And my family is my parents, my sister, and me.
Great. Sarah.
Hi, I'm an intern at Learning Life as well. I am a rising senior at Sarah Lawrence College, and my family is me, my mom, and my sister.
Great. And Anna Benson, whom I met in person yesterday.
Yes, we did. Hi, I'm Anna. I am a rising senior at Gettysburg College studying public policy, international affairs, and Spanish. And there are 4 people in my family. It's my mom, my dad, and my brother, and me.
Great. And it looks like, so Aaron Akomea, who's joining us from Ghana, has introduced himself and his family. And Tadiwa has likewise introduced herself. And we are looking at Tadiwa, if you could just tell us a little bit about your family as well, that would be great. And it sounds like, yeah, tell us a little bit about how the economy is impacting your family. That would be really appreciated in the Zoom chat. Likewise, Abdul, if you can hear us, if you can put that into the Zoom chat, that would be fantastic. We have Jules Nibayemere, who speaks more French than English, but he is one of our family diplomats. And Jules actually just, I think, he is in the conversation here. So hopefully, Jules, if you can hear us, if you can introduce yourself in the Zoom chat and your family, and then the issues that you care about that are impacting your family, that would be great. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else before we get to our presenters that has not introduced themselves. And I think we have everybody right now. Okay, so without further ado, I am going to have Denise and Bethany introduce themselves. And you guys are going to be basically in charge of the rest of this for today. I will chime in if it feels like it's necessary to, or if I have questions and so on. But you guys will have control over this conversation. I just want to remind people that we'll be talking about 2 things. One is, what is family? Because after all, if we're going to be talking about family and family diplomacy initiative, it's not always easy to figure out what family is. And secondly, we want to talk about what's happening to families worldwide. So the conversation is going to occur in those 2 parts. So without further ado, I'll have you guys introduce yourselves. Denise first. And these are, by the way, a mom and a daughter. And so, yeah, I'm sure that will come up in the conversation here. All right.
Okay, thank you. You might be sorry you put us in charge. Welcome, everybody. Ni hao, Marvin. I have studied Chinese families, and that's one of the things I did my dissertation on. I am a developmental psychologist, family scientist, and my interest is in culture and family. So I find this really fascinating to get to know you guys. And I teach at ASU. I've taught there for over 30 years. And I've done a whole lot of other things that I won't get into. But I'm grateful to be here. And Bethany, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, my number 1 daughter,
my number one daughter, the only daughter. But I would have been number one if there were any more anyway. Just kidding. So I'm Bethany Bustamante Van Vliet, and that's my mom. I am in the same program as her. We teach at Arizona State University. And I also got my undergraduate. I'm hearing my voice. I don't know why.
I will mute your mom because that might be the issue, but I'm not sure.
I studied psychology. My focus has been on, like, my dissertation was on statistics. I still hear me. I wonder why.
Yeah. Let me make sure everybody else should be muted, and let me mute myself and see if that helps.
Yeah, maybe I'll be paused. I'll run away and get headphones in a minute. Maybe right now I'm quiet, so I'll see if I can finish an intro. Sorry about that. Or you know what, Denise, why don't we just let you keep going, and I'll see if I can find headphones, because I keep hearing me. It's drives me batty.
Okay. Now, my son is the one who told me, always use headphones, Mom. People will appreciate it. So now my daughter knows, right? I'll let you know that my daughter did not, this is a little secret, she did not intend to ever go into what she's doing now. All right. She wanted to be very far away from what I do. And she ended up going to law school, and her background is actually in statistics. And she used to tell me, I'm so weird, Mom. I take a stat class and I walk out going, that was so interesting. I am such a nerd. So she ended up getting hired by our department, not because of me, but because of her skills. And so I'm just grateful to be able to work with her. We just finished a book on family processes. One of the things that we do when we study families is we look at families as a whole within the context of where they live, within the context of what's going on in the environment, but also we look at the insides of families. And that's something that is very different. And no matter where a family is, their insides are pretty similar. All families communicate with each other. All families argue with each other. All families work at separating, distancing, what we call distance regulation. So these are kind of the important things that we look at. So some of the things we talk about with you today might be a little bit different. Also, Paul, you might find that we might not be exactly doing presentation discussion because of how we teach. And we do discussion as we go. There'll also be time at the end of that presentation for other questions that people might have. But we'll be doing, you're not just going to be listening to me. My daughter is probably, I'll let you know a little bit more about my daughter. She has 6 children. There she is. We can't hear you, Beth. There you go. Oh, we still can't hear you. She has 6 children, 4 biological, 2 who were foster adopted. So that goes to you, Joe. And people think that it's crazy to have 6 children, but she's loving it, and they are a family. 2 children that were adopted are siblings. So her life is crazy. Hey, Bethany, I'm going to go ahead and start so that we don't have to wait for her. Are you?
I think I'm back. Am I back?
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm back. Sorry. Well, you probably heard everything. I don't.
When you have 6 children, you never know what's going to happen to your earphones.
Well, I'm using my son's earphones now. So yes, I have 6 kids, ages 5 through 14. I teach at ASU. I study family. I helped write a book. I think you mentioned that, about family. And if I had passion projects. I mean, I have passion projects specific to my family. They would be meeting needs of diverse students in the education system at all levels. I've got children with ADHD and dyslexia and probably some issues from like exposure to trauma, specifically for my kids from foster care. And so I'm interested in how schools can do a better job of supporting all of our kids. I'm also interested in kind of just families in general in terms of keeping families in mind, which I think that's why we're all here, is how we can make sure when we make decisions, particularly big policy decisions, families are part of that equation. So there we go. Sorry.
Good. Thanks, Bethany. All right. I am going to share my screen right here. Can you see that? Okay. All right. I can't see why. I can't see. Okay. Okay, do you see the slide, or do you see also any notes?
Just the slide.
Hey, got it. All right. You don't want to see my secret notes. All right, welcome to our discussion on family in preparation for you all to become family diplomats and actively find ways to improve the lives of families around the world, which is really an important thing to me. I am especially interested in parenting because I'm interested in children. I want children to be able to reach their potential no matter where they are. So our first topic of the day is simple, right? What is family? Okay, what I want you to do is I want you to take a look wherever you are around your room, and I want you to find an object that to you makes you think of family, or to you represents family. You have 1 minute to go find that object. Do any of you from other countries know what that song was, by the way? A little piece of Americana there. All right, let's see what we've got here. What do we have, Paul? What do you have to share?
You probably can't see this, but it's a piece of luggage. Well, it's a suitcase, right? And I was otherwise going to just say my phone. So the luggage, because I just traveled actually to Europe. I had the fortune of traveling to Europe with my partner, who's part of my family, and my phone, because that's how I keep up with, among other things, my mother, who's very good at age 85. I think it's 85 or 86 or 87. I can't remember. I should know the details. She was born in 1935, but the point is, she's good on, she's going to communicate via social media, and that's an important way that we stay together.
Right. Okay, who else found something to share? All right, Marvin. Unmute.
Yeah, this photo, it's like a photo of my family. It's on my desk, even though, my son's mom and I we're not together anymore, but I still keep this photo on my desk. So always here.
All right.
This photo was taken in DC when the embassy open house. It was in one of the embassies. Yeah.
Very nice.
Dominican Republic. Yeah.
Okay, who else wants to share? Yes, go ahead, Joe. Aw. Unmute.
Yep. So this is I have lots of t-shirts that sort of I wear around in support of family. So, and this is the one that was in the room here, and love makes a family.
All right, very nice. Other people, what did you find?
Okay, I'm actually just outside my house, not inside. So I would actually just show you my home as something that really reminds me of a family, because this is where we live and this is really where our life takes place as a family.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing that. Other things?
Erin has a hand up.
Erin.
Yeah, I actually found dishes because my family and I normally eat together to, share happiness and other stuff like that. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. And that's another example of sometimes of family processes, like when we eat together, right? But we eat in different ways. Some of us sit on the floor. Some of us have separate plates that we don't let anybody touch. And others of us have a center plate that everybody eats from. But yet, we're all family. Other things.
I see Erin and then Alexandra.
I can show this is how families are bonded together. When families are united, this is how they are.
Ah, like that branch.
Wait,
all together, but yet
Erin,
individual. Love it.
Can you explain that? What does that have to do with family, the branch?
So where I'm holding, the part that I'm holding can as what unites the family. In my part of the world, we can say this is the father.
Excellent.
We value the fatherhood, in our part of the world, and so these leaves are held together by this uniting force.
I like that too, because it shows that the leaves are separate as individuals, but yet they're connected. And as Erin, I think, is talking, the father is at that base of that. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Erin. Okay, we've got Alexandra.
Yeah, I think earlier we were talking about sharing food together, and sharing food and sharing meals is something that my family always does and is very important. And I think cooking is a really big love language in my family. So for the past few years, I've been kind of compiling different family recipes and different comfort foods that my family cooks in a little notebook. And so it's hopefully will be like our big family recipe book.
It's going to grow, Alexandra. I'll let you know right now. It's going to get really big. All right. Thank you for sharing that. Emma Tomaszewski.
Yeah, mine might be a little silly, but it's a candle with my mom and me and my sisters on it. And this candle scent specifically it's my mom's favorite. And so although like there's so much craziness going on in our lives and going on in the world, I feel like this blueberry vineyard scent is like a constant in our family. And whenever I smell it, it just reminds me of my childhood and just being with my family.
You know what's a weird smell for me that reminds me of family? Gasoline. Apparently that's pretty, I know, apparently that's pretty common though for my age group. Okay, I'm 70. And that was, we would smell gas whenever our parents filled up the car, and it was a time of togetherness. I don't know. All right, so we have all shared, those people who wanted to share family.
We had Belle. There's a hand up.
Belle. Okay, I'm sorry. Now you see why I have my daughter.
Thank you. Hi, Denise. So I'm in this small extra room in our apartment, which is kind of like a office / storage / anything. But I do happen to have my husband's and mine wedding rings, which is funny because I feel like we're the last people on earth that would wear these, but we got them because of, I don't know, my grandma, for example, you know, she's more into tradition, and it's the kind of thing that you just put for special occasions. And yet we don't wear them. We don't really wear them. They just happen to be next to me. And yet though, I feel that when I wear them, it does something. So if I'm going out for a specific event or occasion that means a little more to me, I make sure that I wear it. So I guess that's the trick there. And also because I never imagined I would ever either get married or be pregnant. And yet here I am. And so very traditional, right? And these are my symbols. Thank you.
Those are lovely. Thank you, Belle, very much. Did we get everybody that wanted to share?
I'm going to share.
Okay.
Oh, it's blurred out. It's a video game called Myst from long ago. It's a puzzle game. It's problem solving. It's trying to figure out how to get to where you want to go. And at least in my family, I feel like so much of our time is spent solving problems, figuring things out. Sometimes it is a complete puzzle, how we all fit together or communicate together. And so to me, that's my family. And I see someone else, I think in chat, who wants to share. Let's see.
I think Cameron is just joining us, and I think Sarah is working on getting him to introduce himself. So she'll manage and make sure that everybody's introducing themselves and where they're coming from.
All right. Then let's get back to where we started. Okay. All right. So when you think about family, let me see here. Got to back up here. George Santayana, who is a philosopher, originally from Spain, he said the family is one of nature's masterpieces. Think about that. Most of us are born in families. It's in our families where we first encounter the world. Our families might be rich, they might be poor, they might be biological, they might be blended, they might be stepped, adopted, monogamous, polygamous, married, unmarried. It's been said that nearly everyone on earth has family ties. So this is an important concept to most people. However, all the variations and differences in family and family roles make it not so easy to define family. So here's what I would like you, well, let me show you some definitions really quick. You're not going to be able to read these. Here are different definitions of family that has been used in my area, all right? So I'm going to ask you, how would you define family? And Bethany's going to be typing some of these things up. So how would you define family?
I don't think I'll be able to type them up here.
Can you get to the whiteboard?
I do not have access.
You know what you can do is we can type them into the Zoom chat if that helps you.
I can do that. I can put them in the Zoom chat.
All right. I need to see my chat. I can't see my chat.
Chats, it should be at the bottom of your screen. There's a yeah, the chat button.
I can't even see the people. All I have on my screen is a big white screen.
I think if you, at the very top of your screen, you should see a view icon, top right. Do you see that? Okay, so there might be some sort of a, you might want to press escape and the escape button on your computer. And that should give you more icons to look at, including hopefully the Zoom, the chat button.
Usually I can see this. So you still see my screen, right?
Yes.
And what do families do? And there's my white screen. Nope, I cannot see anybody. So I will stop share and we'll so I can see people talk. And then I'll reshare later because it's not, I have no view screen. And when I click more, nothing shows up there either. This is what, okay.
Yeah, so I think, yeah.
There we go. Now I see everybody. All right, so let's define family.
And so should everybody just kind of like in the Zoom chat write their own? So, or do you want, I'm wondering if you guys want.
I would like to hear people talk.
Gotcha.
Okay. So Marvin, let's start with you. If you're going to define family, how would you define it without looking at your phone and looking up Google?
Oh, family. Oh, so thank you for the question. That was such a good question. I was thinking, what is family to me? At the beginning, I would think, oh, family is a place making you feel safe, making you feel loved, and make you, oh, okay, this is where I was born and grew up, and also I can always rely on. But since for me, I have been away from my family for many, many years. Ever since like I was 18 years old, after I started college, I haven't really been with my parents or with my household where I used to grow up for many, many years. There was a time my coworker was asking, oh, you know, where, you know, like your family, your home. To me, I used to think family is different from a home. Family is your like bloodline. Like, you know, my parents, they are like my family for sure. I used to think, you know, my wife was part of my family too, but after we divorced, we're not a family anymore. So I think family has something to do with number one in your bloodline, and also after that's the kind of relationship build up with people, especially make you feel loved or you love. What's more important is you want to take responsibilities for them. You want to sacrifice for them. You want to do your best to make sure your family are safe and they are living a good life. It's you know, the bloodline plus what you want to add or you want to do for them. Those kind of together would consider as a family.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, you said family is love. What else how else would you define family?
A collection of the people that are around you that exhibit unconditional love and support you the most.
All right. Okay. Who else would like to try to define family? We've got
Aaron has a hand up.
Support. Aaron, go ahead.
I would define family as the basic unit of society.
The basic unit of society.
Yeah. Every living thing deserves to belong to a family. Families can be biological or, you know, people who share common belief system or ideas coming together to form that, you know, bond, protecting each other and giving each other, you know, the needed support.
Excellent. Thank you, Aaron. Tadiwanashi, did I pronounce that correctly? How would you define family?
Hello, yes. I would say the people that you are free around, the people that you love and care about, and the feeling is mutual as well. The people you're willing to do anything for, sacrificing for them, you know, all those
people that you'd be willing to do anything for and sacrifice.
I think I would define family as the smallest unit of the society with a collective ideology, with a great bond and individual differences.
Okay, individual differences, but yet a collective bond. Yeah, thank you. And
Leroy.
All right. I would define family as a group of two or more persons related together or have common relationship, like willing to sacrifice for each other or do other things, relax on each other. Family cannot only be limited to blood sharing. It can also be extended or adopted or whatever that. So that's my definition.
all right, so blood as well as adopted. All right, any other ideas? Let me throw a few things in here. All right.
May I share also?
Oh, please, Belle.
Thank you. I was trying to type it, but I'll just say it. So when I think of family, oh man, it's such a hard question. Family, I'll just read you what I just wrote. Family is a stew of visceral emotions, security, reliability, support, through which each ingredient or person elevates and enhances the taste and depth of the dish, and the dish being one's reality, which cannot be contained in one pot, and the pot being a boundary.
Did you just come up with that, Belle?
I just wrote it.
Really impressive. That's beautiful.
Really impressive.
Oh, thank you.
If you put it in the chat, I'll add it to this document. There's no way I don't want to oh, there it is. It's in the chat.
Right there.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's like, I'm not going to
yeah.
summarize that. I'm just going to use it.
Very excellent. All right. What great. Now, it's really interesting because a couple of you said it's hard. It's hard to define family. And yet it's like we all know what family is, right? Now, some of my students, do you agree or disagree? Pets are part of your family. I see people who disagree. Thumbs up. Okay. How about friends? Friends are part of your family. Okay, Emma has 2 thumbs up. Okay, Mobile had 1 thumb up. All right. How many of you disagree? How many of you think pets aren't part of your family? Anybody disagree? All right. I think we need to be careful about what is family and what's like family. So I ask my students, your mom is very, very ill, and she needs an operation that will cost $20,000. Would you try to find money to help your mom have that operation? Would you guys? If you could, would you do it? Yes. All right. Your dog just got sick and needs an operation that will cost $20,000. What's wrong, Pa?
I'm gonna have to mute myself because at times I'm laughing.
Would you try to pay for that dog, or would you say it's been a good life? All right. You say your best friend is part of your family. You come home and you discover your best friend in bed with your wife. Your significant other, whoever, is your best friend still part of your family? No. If you found your brother or your sister in bed with your wife, would your brother or sister still be part of your family? Emma says no. Tell me something, Emma. Would you see your sister at Thanksgiving? Or would you see her at funerals? Or would you see her? Their family is different. And we can say things are like family, but family is different. And we can give support to each other. But I bet there are some of you who have family that give that you say, yeah, he's my brother, but man, he doesn't give me any support. He's my father, but he was essentially a sperm donor. I might consider him family. I might not consider him family. This makes, yes, Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to add that is that, you know, I work with people and certainly children who have to be active participants in sort of the definition of family. They don't know what family is, right? So, you know, they look around and that ideal image of family or what people or society is embracing to be family is foreign to them. So I think family is also an active choice of people who you let into your inner circle, because like you said, you can have biological family that you have no familial ties with, right? So they don't feel like family because they're not giving you what you need out of your individual definition of family. And so, you know, in the journey with, one of the things I do as well as I'm a therapist. So in the journey of working with people who really struggle with that ideal family and why don't they have it or why can't they have it or how do they get it? It really is a choice that you have something that it's not just a given, you just have something that you accept, something that you embrace. So there's a part of that is much more complicated than simple definitions of what a family might be.
And that is a wonderful insight. I know when Bethany brought in her 2 foster kids, they called her Bethany. And when she adopted them after a year, they called her Bethany. But after a few weeks, she became mom. And now it's not even a question. So I think what you're saying is they've then made somewhere, it might have been a choice to now consider this is my family. This is somebody that I can trust. Yes, Agi Otto.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so this is I think
Chidonim, turn your video off so that we can hear you just momentarily.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay, so I think one very important characteristic of a family is trust. And the speaker just mentioned, and I think this is what we are missing. If there are certain aspects, certain things, certain events that may happen that may breach trust and break the bond of family, and it happens often in our lives.
Thank you very much for sharing that.
And then
trust. Go ahead, Bethany.
I was just going to say, Belle and Leroy have hands up.
All right, Belle, and we'll start with Belle.
I'm sorry, I can also hold on if we're reserving comments for later. I don't want to interrupt your presentation.
Oh, that's fine. We're way over time right now anyways. It's okay.
Well, it's your fault. It's too interesting, too complicated.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask, like, when it comes to family and you know, you gave that choice, like the $20,000 surgery, and then you have mom and dog. For family, I would look out for more options. Why are those my only 2 options? Like either pay or not pay. You know what I mean? I could have a mother that it's by blood, right? It's technically I would emphasize on the biological part of mother, right? And then it's not really so much of a mother. And then the dog who has created meaning for me, perhaps is a therapy dog, right? Or maybe it's just someone like that, right? So family would, someone that you consider family and love that way and care for that way, would push me to think of, would just push me to think more, right? To think of more options out there.
Yeah, interesting.
I look at, sorry to interrupt. Paul just mentioned too, we can put definitions and thoughts and ideas or things we disagree with, anything in the chat, because I want to hear all these ideas. When we adopted our two kids, even before that, but officially when we adopted our two kids, our family grew exponentially because they came with something like, I don't know how many we have, 8 grandparents, a set of foster grandparents. So they're foster parents' parents. They all became family, got some extra aunts and uncles. And now the biological kids we have, call them all grandma, grandpa, Aunt Jessica. And so it is very interesting to see how we can build family and how those definitions change and what that means. And now I know that some of those people though think of my biological children a little bit differently in terms of whether or not they're family, but yet to my kids, they're family. And so it is really interesting to see those kind of porous boundaries sometimes in terms of what we define as family and how that can change.
Pierre, I'm not going to let you get away with it. You had your hand up. Pierre?
Yeah, am I allowed?
Yes.
All right. I want to ask a question because I have been listening to so many definitions of family, and I have a case where the family were abandoned or neglected by their father, and after some time, they decide to exempt themselves from the father. So should we consider the family that abandoned the father to be wrong, or the father is the one that wronged the family?
That's a good question. And that's why we're talking about these things. Umesi,
Just
go ahead.
Pierre, just a quick note, Pierre Mako is also, I said, he seems to have wanted to raise his hand, but he also wants to contribute here.
Okay, let's go to Pierre first.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for giving me the floor. To me, a family is not only about human beings, because, when we say family is a safe place, is when we get our support, love, and everything like that to have a happy life. To me, I can extend that definition. To me, family goes beyond human beings. So to me, the entire universe, the nature, vegetation, animal. So all of us, including human beings, of course, we are a family. About your question, I think if we expect only good things from family, from our relatives, from our friends, we expect only good things from them, we will be disappointed because under the sun, we know we have the opposite all the time. So we have good things and bad things. And so even though we don't have what we expect in terms of, support, in terms of, good things, but those people are still a part of our family. So to me, we can't only say somebody is my family because they are doing me good, because they're supporting me. Nobody's perfect. So we just need to understand that this definition covers, more than what not only human beings, but even the universe and things like that. So if we look at things in that way, yeah, so we be kind of accepting everything that can happen to us. So that was my, my thought.
And we are all brothers and sisters here, aren't we, Pierre? From that perspective. Let's go to Umese and then Muba. Umese Justice.
I want to react based on the question that was asked. Mm-hmm. Okay, now before a father would neglect or leave his children, I think there should be rationales behind it, because in a society or in a family where there is conflict, there is always a remote cause of such conflict. There must be something that triggered such conflict. Like from a definition when I gave as regards to the family, I made mention of collective ideology, individual differences, and the bond. Now, in a family, their bond is sacrosanct. Sure, there is also a collective responsibility. This is what this family tends to achieve. This is the vision and the mission this family have in mind. This is the ideology this family have in mind. But these ideologies, to some extent, might not work based on the individual differences. Now, the individual difference of the father may vary from that of the mother, and that of the mother may be different from that of the children, irrespective of the bond they share. And these individual differences might be influenced based on environmental factor, friends, education, books they read, religion, and all the rest. Because in the contemporary society, we have families that have different religious belief, where the father might be an Islam and the mother might be a Christian. So all these individual differences happens in a family, despite the fact that they share a collective, or despite the fact that they share a bond, but that individual differences remains sacrosanct. So if a father decides or neglects the children, or the children neglects the father, there must be a remote cause of it. Like you made mention of a mother who is ill and a dog, a pet. To some extent, some persons might even want to take care of the pet to their mother. Why? We're talking about the bond. What is the level of the bond the person share with the mother, and what's the level of the bond the person shares with the pet? Just like a grandmother who have love for the children, and the children reciprocate those love. But once the children get their own children, they reduce the level of love they have for their mom and transfer it to the children. So I think over time, there is an alteration when it has to do with the family, but individual differences remain sacrosanct, and the bond, to some extent, is being limited. I think that's what I have to say for now.
Thank you very much for sharing that, Umese. We've got Mulba who wants to, looks like there's somebody with you. And then after Mulba, we'll have Kamran. So go ahead, Mulba.
Okay, so let me say good afternoon from our end. Firstly, are you getting me, please? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let me say good afternoon, and I am Moba. Moba Isaac Kumo is my name, and I think last Sunday I told you people how our family was like, and of course, our brother of mine, my elderly brother, the photo you saw on the website, we were posted with a little girl standing with the balloon. So here she is, and so she happens to be my mother. So almost everything that I do, I just consider her my mother. So she's called to, so you can just speak to the people. Just say hello. Just say hi to them. Hi.
Good to have you here.
So with regards to the question that Leroy asked, I just want to be able to come in first, look at what a family is. So first I want to
Mulba, while you're talking,
yeah?
just turn off your video so that we can hear you. While you're talking, just turn off your video.
Okay, I will do that. Okay, so let me just continue. I was just saying that our family is defined based on like several other reasons. But then firstly, I will want to emphasize few words. People look at ideology to define what a family, people that believe in certain things. Some will also say a family of mine is somebody of my bloodline, that is either from my mother's womb, or maybe from my mother's womb, or from my mother's sister's womb, or just within the bloodline. Some also define a family based on religious belief. that we are from the same religion. Christians will refer to Christians as brothers. And some will also define or family based on their locality. So based on where you find yourself, all of those around there, I sometimes consider your family. So with regards to the question I will ask, from our own African setting, whether the person is actually caring for you or not, once a person bear you, that person automatically is your family, no matter what. Somebody just said that whether like now we are talking about family, you are in the US, I am in Africa, others are also in other countries around, and we consider ourselves a family. So it just tells us that we have a common thing that we have, and this could be defined, and then considering my first word that I used, ideology. So Leroy, to your question, whether the person is abandoning their family or they're not abandoning their family, whether they have some support that is coming and then certain time the support is not coming, based on our African setting, once you are from that bloodline, you are automatically their family. So it's just something I want us to maintain, because we will talk about neglect, persistent no-child support, for example, is a kind of common issue in Liberia, but it's practiced almost everywhere you go. But mind you, we still consider, whether we were being neglected or not, we still consider those people as being our family. So it's just my little thought I wanted to share. It was something my mother and I share idea on. So that is it from our end.
Excellent. Thank you so much for those thoughts. You made some excellent points. Cameron.
Thank you. My name is Kamran Khan. I'm from Pakistan. It's my first meeting while joining you people. I'm glad to see you people here. I will start to add my comment on family. Basically, I am from South Asia. We have a different perspective regarding family system, social system, religious system, cultural system, which varies on this part of the world. If you trace back the definition of family, how human beings came together, there are varieties of definition which are mentioned about philosophers. So in this regard, I will start about family. Family is something about, from my perspective, the family is something about fraternity, equality, support, and caring. So the philosopher of the world, mostly they work on gender studies and sociology, anthropology. They also mentions about family. Family is the attributes and also a basic integral part and important institution of social life. Per individual, mostly the behavior of human being, the psyche, everything of social life, which completely is based on the support of family. Even the entire life of human is affected by family. So for me, from my perspective, family is a support, caring, fraternity, equality. There must be a egalitarian approach. There must be fraternity among the family. There must be support. There must be the ultimate goals, the sharing of goals. So from my perspective, family is caring, support, fraternity, and dignity. Even.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that.
Let's have one more, and then we might fly through some of these next slides.
Okay. Go ahead, Dennis. Dennis Paul Wamboko.
Okay, thank you very much for the time. Maybe let me remove my video off because my network is not clear. Thank you very much for being here. This is Dennis Paul from Uganda. I'm glad to be part of you. This is my second time to be here. I will share about family, how I understand family. Family is in a different categories. We have family of our own blood, then we have family of communities where we be, the place we are working, or the place of our region, or the groups we are moving in. So how I understand the family, we have a family of our own blood, the family which works together, the family which is united, the family which respect each other, the family which is having both parents, It doesn't matter whether you're having how many mothers or one mother, but when you work together, it is a family. But the family which is having the mom is on his own and the father is not the father is also doing her own thing, his own thing. That's somehow the family which is not really organized. I'll give an example from my family. My family, my dad had two wives.
Dennis, we're having issues hearing you. So if you could keep the microphone close to your mouth.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
All right, thank you. So I was still sharing about family. As I was saying that the family, I understand it in a different way. We have that family of our own blood, or of mother and father and the kids around of the clan family. Then we have a family of where we go and meet somewhere and create our own family, where those people who have been supporting you, people who have been like more than your parents, people who have been more than your siblings, that is also part of your family, because the person who helps you, to push you, to show you the good route to move on, that is also a family to you. That person becomes part of your family, because that person is trying to lift you from where you have been, to lift you up, or to the great part. So that person becomes to be your family. It's not only a family by blood, but the family, someone who wishes you something good. You can have your siblings, but these are the siblings who don't support you in anything. Maybe some of them, they feel jealous because you are prospering in anything you're doing. So I think that will not be a family, but the family is somewhere where you meet people and people welcome you and people you unite together. That's how I understand my family.
Thank you very much for that.
Hey, Denise, how about you start sharing the slide again?
Real quick though, we've got Lakshmi on the chat who says the core elements in family are trust, support, sacrifice, and love, not only by blood, having a we feeling bond. You guys have so many wonderful thoughts on here, but what you have just done is you've kind of proven a point. All right, so
I've been keeping notes on what people have answered in terms of what is family. And it's interesting. We have a few things for kind of what family is, which ranges from biological blood, extended, adoptive, whatever. There's different types, common beliefs and not common beliefs, bond, good and not all good. So there's a few things there, but what I saw a lot of what people were saying relates to what families do. And so we have unconditional love and support, taking responsibility for them, which I think includes training and teaching and supporting each other, sacrificing for each other, relying on each other, trust. But I found that list tended to have a lot more responses in terms of what family does.
Thank you, which exactly gets us into the next slide, doesn't it, Bethany? We might have difficulty defining families, but it does appear we can answer a lot of the questions of what families do. And again, while families across the world look very different, they do have some basic functions. And we can, this is all kind of like science-based, what researchers have found. But it's in families that we create children. We haven't yet discovered how to create babies and grow them in test tubes. They grow in people, and usually those people are within a family setting. And then those people, those children, are reared within a family. Not all families raise their children, but at this point in time, it's still the place that children are born into, and most children are reared. Another function of children or families is to provide, related to rearing children is what we call socialization. We teach children, hopefully families are the first teachers of children. They're the first ones to teach children the culture that they're growing up in, the abilities, the behaviors that will make them successful in whatever type of setting they're in, whether it's to be an excellent farmer or to be a doctor. Those are all important aspects that families teach their children.
We also, families, as you have mentioned, they share a common theme of providing affection and emotional support for each other. Now, again, this can look different. In some cultures, we don't kiss. In other cultures, we do. But it seems to be a basic need. If you are in a family that is polygamous, a lot of times the wives are very close to each other and provide a lot of support for each other. In Nigeria, among the Igbo, the eldest sisters are the source of nurturance and support. We also see that families provide for each other economically. I didn't give birth to my children and say, okay, give me money and take care of these kids. And neither am I, in my late old age now, likely my children will help support me even when I'm older, just as I supported them when they were younger. And as we support each other, as was mentioned, a brother might help another brother economically if needed. Sometimes we have family businesses, that kind of thing. Also, families provide status. So you can be born into a family that in some places it gives you status and it can make a difference. In other places, status is something that is determined by your behavior, for example, the things that you do. So these are things. So if we look at, whether your family is a nuclear family, where it's just a nuclear family is defined as like parents and children, an extended family where you have maybe cousins living with you, aunts, uncles, grandparents, whether it is a single parent family, whether you don't even have any children, I think the important thing is the recognition that families are important. They are a basic unit, as several of you have said, a basic unit of society that deserves to be strengthened and supported. Other things can change, but we usually start and we end with with family. And this is my family. There's Bethany, there's her husband, and here are her 6 children. All right, that is my son in the upper right, and his wife and their 2 children. They have a third now, and then that's my husband and I. So we've got like 10 minutes for general discussion, because I'm thinking, and I'm going to stop the share here, because I'm thinking with only 10 minutes, we're not going to want to start topic number 2. And I hope you're finding this discussion really interesting. But it's really, really important for us to understand that how we define families makes a huge difference in policies. And for government, it makes a huge difference. The government has to decide, for example, for inheritance rights, who gets stuff when the oldest member of the family dies, or who gets to take care of the children, who's supposed to pay for children if they have children, like they divorce, or the government's really interested in this stuff. And so it's important. And there was a conference several years ago about family. And they brought in people and experts from all over the world, because family is important. It is the basic unit of society. We need to support family. Within 24 hours, the 3-day conference broke up. Do you know why? They couldn't define or agree on a definition of family. So this is something that as diplomats, you need to be aware of. All right. I open the discussion to you.
Can I just jump in?
Sure, please.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. First of all, thank you for that entire presentation and even the energy that you guys just transmitted me today. I was really at the very end, like the definition of family, and I agree that it's really hard to define family, especially because I think that our cultural orientation influence our definition of family. And this is why I think it's close to impossible to find a common definition, global definition, but I totally agree that this, of course, has an influence on policies, and that is what is mostly scared, because there are even some families that are not even recognized, like, you know, queer people or children of queer people are not even recognized. So that's really makes a big difference. And even how culture influence the perception of a role or gender role that is within a family, and influence directly the functioning of the family. And the difference in culture, of course, is beautiful, but at the same time, as you said, it undermines a universal definition of family. So we have to tolerate, of course, and embrace diversity of culture and definition of families, but at the same time, if you want really to make policies that are equal worldwide, we have even to agree on a universal definition that, of course, respects everyone without maybe getting a fuzzy meaning of family. Yeah.
Thank you, Rosalia. Excellent.
And I would, I have can you hear me?
Yes, Joe.
I have a real hard time with the issue of inheritance and money, because that's always going to lean towards the haves or the have-nots. So when governments make these policies, it's more about, it's in my opinion, it's more about power and transfer of power, and minimizing and maintaining the inequities that are typically built into societies, where that there's no upward mobility. And so it's really, it's very, very complicated what I'm trying to explain, but if we leave the definition of families to governments and government officials, it is not going to be fair and equitable. It never has been, and I argue that it never will be, because there are so many political influences, and really the one of the majors is power. And we have examples now that we're living through in this country where everything is almost crystal clear, that every decision that's being made is to maintain power by a certain population in this country, and to make sure that those that don't have power remain uneducated, incapable, with all the boundaries that are being put up. And I mean, this is sort of a historic view of, like, almost every country that I've had to, that at least I've examined, there's always that, control and power. And if we define family in economic terms, then we're not really talking about all of the things that we brought up that are important about family.
One thing is that I brought that up only as an example of why government is interested, why it's important for us to define family. There's so many other things related.
Who gets to do that, though, is really the question.
Exactly. And that's something that, again, I think it's important for us to ponder on. Now, I'm going to turn the facilitation time over to Paul now for the last 5 minutes, Paul. So you can. I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next week. And maybe we'll pick up from next one.
This has been awesome. Even though, so we only got through, just to make people aware, we had 2 questions we started this with. One is, what is family? And I think we definitely covered that with a variety of perspectives from all of you. And it's part of what's nice about this is that we're bringing people from different cultures together to kind of think through this rather messy concept of family. And, you know, who has the power, as Joe Tolles was rightly mentioning, about who has the power to define family. But also that, as I think Rosetta was trying to indicate, because we can have these very expansive definitions of family, that can be really problematic when you're trying to help families, because governments need to come up with some sort of precise definition in order to be able to help families. And so there are, you know, a variety of issues here, but I think this was really helpful in giving us a sense of some of the issues and the complexities involved in just coming to a definition of family. So next time, hopefully what we'll be getting to is changes that are happening in families. And then I think we're proceeding to two other topics, which I have to, we're proceeding to kinship. So you're going to hear from, if all goes well, because she's, there's a new professor from South Africa, well, actually from the University of Maryland, but she's currently in South Africa, and she may have connection issues, but we're hoping to bring her on to talk about kinship. And then we will also have conversation about rituals, routines, and family narratives, which Denise and Bethany will be talking about. So that is next Sunday, same time, same Zoom link. And just keep in mind that we want you to, and throughout this, not just contribute to, but try to think about, what are you learning from this, right? Because ultimately, many of you, I think, took the pre-survey. We're going to be asking you to take at the end a post-survey, and we're hoping that you're actually going to be knowing a lot more and have a more kind of complex, sophisticated sense of family and then diplomacy when you come out of this. So keep thinking to yourselves, like, what did I learn from this session, right? And what are the key takeaways for me? You may want to write those things down and kind of keep a running log of the things that you're learning from each session. So with that said, I want to thank again Denise and Bethany for this, for your kind of helping us to bring out. You were really effective in getting us to talk, and it was really a rich conversation to hear from a variety of people in different parts of the world. So, so we're looking forward to continuing that conversation next week, next Sunday, same time. In the meantime, thanks everybody and have a good week.
Could we hear from Leroy? He's been waiting for like
yes, and hold on, actually, even before Leroy goes, let me actually just quickly take a photo of everybody with smile. I have taken some photos here, but if you could ideally turn on your video and briefly, and I'm going to take a photo of as many of you as possible with your video on. So on 3, I will have you smile. So on 3, 1, 2, 3, smile. Perfect. Fantastic. We got lots of people smiling and beautiful. So Leroy, did you want to go ahead and say something?
Yeah, I want to speak on the issue that has to do with the definition, because I know that most people, it is because of their
Leroy, we can no longer hear you.
definition that they actually accept thing. That's why they consider some people not being part of them. But from this teaching, I know for sure that we that are attending will be agent in our various country or community environment. So I want for us to come up with a concrete and convincing definition of a family where if we are talking to people of such kind, that they will be able to listen to us and understand our points that we will be making. Thank you so much.
Great.
And look at that, only 1 minute over.
Yeah, so thank you, Abdul. We'll have to stop now. I want to respect everybody's time, and we look forward to seeing you next Sunday. So for now, bye everybody, and see you online on our Family Diplomacy Initiative on Facebook. Bye everybody.